Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So mankind has been sent to this world, and as is our nature, we forget about our Creator. So God, through His mercy, sends to us reminders. One of the reminders is that He sends prophets to us whom guide us back to our nature, our fitrah, which is to recognize that there is a Creator, there is a God who created the entire cosmos. So we do forget, but God has mercy towards us and He sends prophets to us. But He also leaves behind something for us, especially for the final ummah, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is the Quran. And the Quran reminds us that God is actually always with us. So if we rewind back to the story of Nuh, before him, we have the Prophet Adam, peace be upon him. And human beings fall away, drift away from monotheism, this pristine idea of worshipping God. And we fall into making gods, as people have done in the past, and they've perished as a result. And sometimes an ostensibly innocent act of remembering others through images becomes the very same veil that prevents us from reaching to God. So we find in the stories of bygone prophets that people began to make images, and those images eventually became gods in of themselves as well. But yet God, in His limitless mercy towards us, sent prophets who guide us to the right path. And man is prone by nature to also narrow their horizons to the material realm, i.e. they become materialistic. But we are people who are metaphysicians. We look at things beyond what we can immediately observe and touch as well. And sometimes, because we are overwhelmed by the material nature of the world, we narrow our horizons. We don't see what lies beyond God, in God's vast expanse as well. And so this is God's mercy to us, that He sends prophets to us to guide us as well. And God's mercy is, of course, unlimited, because of course He is mentioned in the Quran as Ar-Rahman, the one who showers His limitless mercy to His creation. And all of this more occurs in the month of Ramadan, when heaven's gates are opened and God's mercy descends on mankind as well. And as for the Prophet Nuh, who we are also reflecting upon, he endured all that his people put him through, and he remained firm on his mission, which was to call people to God. So we are reminded in the same way that in life we are to remain focused on our devotion to God as well. And he really embodied one of the key names of God, of the divine, which is this idea of remaining firm, right? And he continued to supplicate through his embodiment of the mercy of God for his people who insulted him. And he said in his supplication, رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِقَوْمِي إِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. O my Lord, forgive my people, for they know not. And this is the prophetic nature that we should embody, that we wish goodness and guidance for everyone, since they are all the craftwork of the divine as well. At the same time, the Prophet Nuh reminds us of continuing to build for our communities. We see in the story of him building the ark, continuing to build institutions and places of learning despite what might be happening around us, because for us, the central motif of our civilization is about education and learning as well. So even when things are becoming uncomfortable for us, we focus on our devotion to God as well. And as the story of Nuh unfolds, and he becomes one of those who's in a state of humility before his Creator. And it's also fascinating that the vast majority of the people who believed in him are not from the wealthy elite in society, but from the lowest people in society. So we also learn this idea of humility is also an important attribute of a believer as well. But in his weakest moment, we are reminded that he turns to Allah, Al-Qawi, who is the possessor of all strength. So we should remind ourselves in the month of Ramadan as we go through this blessed month that Allah is with us. Inna Allaha ma'ana.